are here on Unfair Sports, where we take a offensive approach to sports conversation. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up here on the YouTube channel, as well as listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to. While you're here, like, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars, all that stuff. If you don't like us, give us 5 anyway and gift it. So me and Coop's going to be on here really diving deep into a bunch of rumors that's going on around here, right? Is the Dom McKinley stuff. We'll let you know if we've heard anything about our boy Ty Bates making any type of travels. We'll also dive into the depth chart because it just got released, so we've got to react to that. And we'll also start previewing the game, so keep your eyes open for that part. So hit us up. Let us know what your thoughts are. We would love to hear from you all. Hop in the comments, as well as below you can see we get the Discord link. Jump in the Discord. We would love to have you in there hanging out with us. So let's dive into this real quick. Coop, what's going on, man?
What is going on, brother, man? Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's never stopping now.
No, it's not. It's never gonna stop. It's forever now.
Between the season, recruiting, and then obviously, like the moment that you get Nigel locked up, if McKinley's here too, then everybody's attention is going to turn right over to Kansas City again.
Yes, you're 100% correct. It's going to be Basically, we're on to Cincinnati again. Is what we're basically dealing with here. We're on to Cincinnati. But no, I'm actually excited because the depth chart dropped. That's some great stuff that we've been wanting to have. We also have the Dom McKinley stuff. So we'll start with that. I dropped a video not too long ago around Dom and all the craziness that's going around it. And I'm just going to, if you didn't watch the video, we'll go ahead and just make it simple. And I'm going to let y'all know. I don't know nothing. And honestly, I don't know who actually does. And I say that for this reason. Dom's whole recruiting has been like silent. He don't talk to nobody. His family don't talk to nobody. It's been like this that whole time. And so for me, I'm trying to get a better understanding of what do people know? Like, where is this information coming from? And this is why I said that, because like I said in the video earlier, it seems like every time I looked up, I'm seeing something new on social media about what's going on with this recruitment. But it's like nothing's definitive. I'm hearing Texas was, of course, the leader for the longest. Then I saw Texas A&M is in the lead. Then I heard I saw somebody that Ohio State was taking over. Then I saw Oklahoma was it. And this is what makes it funny. And Hank, you make this really good point here. Is one thing that I get with all of this is this. Dom mentioned in an article that he had his selection made a month ago. I was like, is all of a sudden he's being swayed? Do we think people are walking in with bags? I don't know if that's true. So as I get off my soapbox, Coop, I'm going to pass this on to you because I'm trying to figure this out. What's going on?
I think it's a little bit easier to understand than everybody's making it out to be. If you're a big time tackle, defensive tackle, defensive end, O tackle, you now have the capability of, again, I mean, if I were to reach out my hand with 2 hands and I got $150 in one hand and $200 in the other, and I could say, you get to pick one. Mm-hmm. Which one are you picking? And so these guys, I don't know if NIL is the thing that's just pushing them over there. I think that, these kids have been told that they're great. They got people around them telling them they're great. And then all of a sudden, people start tossing money at them. And it's just human nature for you to kind of be like, all right, hold on a second. I feel like I am. And then, especially if you're a guy, you're always like, that fish was like probably 7-8 pounds when it's probably 2 or 3. So he's talking to one school going, I mean, it's like $750,000 right now. And they're like, oh, well, let us see what we can do. We'll be back in touch with you. And that stuff's just going back and forth. And, at some point they got to finally just be like, all right, so what are your core priorities? It's just sales tactics 101. We did that together a long time ago. Right? It just 100%. That's, like I said, human nature. If you got 2 different people, but You and I know this. It is very, very hard. The burden of knowledge sometimes is a little nuts, and you got a lot of people who see that there's an audience for this, and so more and more people are trying to be that first person on Twitter. They're trying to be that first person to post something. They're taking something that they think that they heard, and then they're putting it out there, and everybody's tossing out all this stuff. And none of it's like, I guarantee you 100% Dom McKinley is coming to Oklahoma or A&M or Texas or LSU. Nobody has that. They're just hinting, because at a hint, if you're wrong, if you're right, you can go back and be like receipts. But you don't want receipts around when you're wrong. Ask one of our very young friends that right now.
Right. And as you all know, OU Insider's going right now. So Parker and them are probably talking about it as we speak, as well as Brandon. But that's exactly it, Coop. That's what's throwing me off with this, is that it seems like everybody wants to go out. There's a reason why I for like the last 4 or 5 days, I never dropped a video on McKinley until today. There's a reason why. And it's not that I just didn't even have time, because I was putting out other videos also. It's just that I cannot find any solid information, and it keeps changing, keeps constantly changing.
Yeah.
So if you follow something, like I follow Cap 405, the Crimson Cap,
Yeah.
and even with him, every time he looked up, he was changing. He was providing more information, more updates. Hey, we've got new information. We've got this. We've got it looked constantly. And so because of that, I was like, why do I want to throw out a video about this when I really don't know what's going on? So,
And I do want to preface this. I'm not taking a shot at anybody. I'm just saying that when you feel so convicted that you're able to step out there and make that prediction, I mean, that's why a lot of these guys don't do it very often. I believe that PT was 100% convinced. And then at one point, I think I heard Drum saying, at this point, it's, I don't want to jump off, because you kind of just have to address that. You either jump off and deal with the stuff up front, or so. I mean, it's tough, especially like if I can say, like even Terry Bussey coming to Norman. You and I talked about that, and we heard great sources from several different people. And your exact words to me were, until I see the university or something or him tweet it out, I'm staying off of it.
exactly.
Because you don't want to see a source who's got 2 or 3 of the past ones correct. Do you remember the stuff about the Thunder and David Hicks that you and I heard about, quite a long time ago? I've brought that up to a couple people, and a couple people looked at me like I was from a different planet, and a couple other people are like, I heard some pretty crazy stuff. So I mean, it's just hard when it's out in the air like this.
Right. And so that's that. And if you ever wonder why, that's the reason why I stay back. I slow down with certain things. I'm just like, let me wait and see what happens. Let me see where this goes, where this takes us.
And I truly believe too, there's a guy. I mean, you tell me this, and I'll just easy math for all the mathematically challenged folks. If David Stone was given $1 million, how likely is it that David Stone is going to take the entire defensive line out to the lake and rent boats and stuff like that for everybody? These guys of this character, they're not just blinging out. They're not doing crazy crap, and they're not, except for Stutzman. I don't know what the hell he does half the time, but that's neither here nor there. But, these guys, like you see more and more of like guys like Dylan Gabriel taking everybody out. I mean, that's what some of this NIL money is going to be used. You're starting to see other people do stuff for charity. So I don't think it's always just like a, dollar signs in the eyes and you're just going to go crazy. So that's a soapbox that I have. I mean, sometimes it seems a little, sketchy, but at the same time, I mean, like, what happens if he goes out and has a, cardiac arrest or something in the middle of the freshman season? Like, you can't play anymore. Or
Right.
A Devin Hamlin type of situation. I mean, it could be taken away in one hit.
Right. And Hank, that's exactly my point with that, is that everyone's throwing out guesses. And so, I try to make sure that I'm providing. I'm not an insider. I tell y'all this all the time. Yeah, I know I probably shouldn't say it so much. All y'all like, Jay, we know. You're on here having fun as a fan. I know. But I like to remind people, because some people be thinking, oh man, you provided some insider. No, I'm just searching the tea leaves like y'all. That's it.
Yeah.
Real talk. So, but anyway, the reason why we're here outside of Dom, that's the Dom talk. We've got past it. Hop in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. We're going to have some for real fun because I want to talk about these rosters. Like, I know y'all saw that the depth chart launched up. Your boy was excited. I was specifically excited because I was very close on a lot and I was way the bleep off on others. And when I say way to bleep off, I was way to bleep on others. And so just put the last thing on the McKinley piece. Be excited if we get him, but don't be mad if we don't. He's more icing on the cake of what we're building. Because I think there's like two other players. Like I'm really high on Nigel Smith as well as Danny Okoye potentially coming here. And so because of that, that's what I'm keeping my head on. So as far as like confidence, I'm 6, maybe 5. So yeah, and exactly. The speculation is all over the place, and this was kind of
5.75.
right. It's I'm maybe a 5. I'll go with that. So anyway, let's look at this, Coop. I know you was just as excited as I was.
Very much.
Because when I saw this, I was like, ooh, we get to see depth charts. We getting depth charts. All right, so taking a gander at this, we got, first off, let me give a couple of observations that jumped out to me before I move into, we start moving into positions and stuff. So we're going to go in detail on this one. And this is majority what the show is going to be, is us going in detail on these rosters, on this roster setup. But the thing that jumped out to me is, one, we got like 21 oars on here, as in we don't know who's going to be on the field. It's potential either or is going to be out there. I love to see that. And what that tells me is going into game one, we've got enough competitive depth that we feel like we can play a lot of different players. That's huge. Something that we all have been yearning for, right? We've been amped about the idea of having competitive depth to be able to do this, right? So now that we've got it, we get to show it off. We're flaunting it. And so that was the two things that jumped out the most to me, is all of that. All right, let's jump on this part. Coop, give me a couple of situations in here that jumped out to you the most that we have starting on this depth chart.
So, I mean, obviously the last running back performance we saw was Javonte and Gavin. And you heard a lot of Tawee Walker stuff. You know, heard a little bit of it last year and then never saw him. You heard a lot about it this year, and you were like, yeah, I mean, he's cool. I mean, it's going to be a thumper coming in the third, fourth quarter. Sure, yeah. That's terrific, you know. And then you started hearing Marcus Major. So to see Marcus Major and Tawee Walker, again, this is not a charity deal with Tawee. Gavin and Javonte have both had some injury issues. Gavin's got a hamstring right now. Javonte coming off the foot. I think that they're both, you know, if you had to have them, I think that they both could be out there. But Major has done enough. The absolute stunning thing about Marcus Major this year is you don't have to need him. Whatever he can add is cream on the top, brother. But Tawee Walker, again, and I thank you. Who was it? Was it Hank that said a second ago, or Stubby, one of the two? Yeah, I mean, it's going to take one. And I heard Gabe and Teddy say it earlier today, and so I'm going to repeat it and give all credit to them. But I've said it earlier too, is you got Tawee Walker is going to take a one cut, you know, inside zone, and he's going to go, and a safety is going to come up and try to make a name for himself, and he's going to hit Tawee that first time, and Tawee's going to boom on him. And then after that, everybody's going to see what happened. Everybody's going to hear it, and everybody's going to hear, whoa! And I promise you that play goes for 10, 12 more yards, if not something bigger. So, I mean, that he is a bowling ball, and 5'9", 216. This isn't Deuce Vaughn running around. I mean, this is a bowling ball. And so that one was one. When I looked at are we staying on the offense side right now, or are you going to do everything?
There you go. And there we have it, folks. That's the best point. So I'm gonna look at the next, the one that jumped out to me. So of course we've got Marcus Major and Tyree Walker as our starting, basically our oars on that one. The one that jumped out to me the most, honestly, is Justin Harrington as the starting cheetah with no oar. Now, I wanted to address this too because I know a lot of people saw that and was kind of shocked as well. But this is my understanding with this, and this is kind of the thing that I've heard about McCullough in camp, is that as exceptional as he is, he needs to put on weight. He needs to get stronger. He needs to put on more weight. Now, granted, he's like, what's this, 219, which he's like 4 pounds bigger than Harrington, but he's also like 2 inches taller. Yeah. So it's the difference you see in that. But the anticipation is we'll see a lot of them. So that's the reason why there's no or there. And then from there, the Reggie Pearson, Key Lawrence or was interesting. And I say this for this reason too. This is going to be set up like this for the first week. We're going to do this exact same thing next week, probably next Wednesday. We will have this exact same conversation. Me and Coop's going to be on here. We may have a guest. We may see Chris or we may see PG. But we're going to talk about, or Jason. We may get Jason on here for this. But we're going to talk about, this is going to be in a completely different look next time. And Harrington up. That the rumor is that Harrington has really stepped up in that role since he's been here. So that's really the two that jumped out to me. What other one jumped out to you before we go position to position?
All right. I'll say that, and I'll make this very, 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 very fast on this piece. You heard a lot of Connor Neer, and I think that it was just a relief to finally see Kanik, and that position switch didn't happen, that they're going to start. Danny's going to be at that weak side, and Kanik's going to be in the Mike linebacker. So there's that. But let me ask you this question before we go position by position. I'm going to read off, just on the defensive side, the number 2 name in each position, and tell me, is that number 2 better than our defense last year? R. Mason Thomas, Jordan Kelly, Dejon Terry, Trace Ford, Connor Neer, Kip Lewis, Dasan McCullough, Kendall Dolby, Peyton Bowen, Key Lawrence, and Josiah Wagner. They could run that team out on the field, and we'd all be like, dang.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
I mean,
we'd be just excited about that as we are what we're talking about now. Like, we would be like, man, that team is just really good.
And I think that's now we're starting to see what the competitive depth conversation was. Real fast, the offensive line, I think that after the first team, the next 3 guys in are going to be able to bounce into 2 or 3 different positions. I think that you're going to see Gain Green, Everett, Schaefer, maybe Taylor, maybe 4 guys. And if something happens and Savion Bird needs a breather, Taylor can step in there. If Matauer needs a breather, he can step in there, or one of the other guys. That's Biedenbaugh to the T. Is he wants flexibility.
Yeah, no, I agree. Biedenbaugh's got himself a whoosh. So let's start offense.
Okay.
As expected, quarterback was Dylan Gabriel with Jackson Arnold right behind him, and that's no or. Davis Bevel being third was interesting, but I just saw that General Booty got himself another sponsorship with the Rock'ems. And since that's the case, I anticipate that we won't see General Booty on the football field at all. We can't actually. I feel like he could ruin the brand if he goes out and play. That's just how dope his brand stuff is right now. So we're going to leave it at that, right?
Yeah. So ruin the brand of his name, not the brand of OU.
Exactly. Ruin his brand, the brand of his name. Exactly. Yes. So next up, we got running backs. We talked about Marcus Major, Tyree Walker's being our oars. It'll be situational. So understand that, and this is Arkansas State. So there's really no reason to try out Javante Barnes or Gavin Sawchuk when we've seen them play against Florida State. We've seen them see Javante Barnes throughout the season, and Javante Barnes is coming off that surgery on his foot. You may as well pump the brakes with them. That's my thought. Am I off base on that one, Coop?
No, and even though tell me if I'm wrong, but don't be surprised if you don't see a Caleb Hicks, come in also. If if we need to run him out there, Marcus and Tawi, we're going to be able to run at will at this team. The safety is going to come up, and then they're going to give up some deep plays. Marvin Harrison could still be catching 80-yard touchdowns, and he played against them last year, junior that is. But yeah, running backs are going to get some carry.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, don't be shocked on any of that. If Meg was healthy, we may even see him populate somewhere. So we'll see what that looks like. All right. yeah, Stubby. I'm not even gonna put it on there, but yeah, everybody's in the comments and everybody's cracking up because, I mean, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't. You're not wrong. Just know that, brother. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Anyway, tight end was interesting seeing Stogner as, of course, we knew he was gonna be the definitive starter.
Yeah.
But seeing Blake Smith as the definitive number 2. Now, we saw the club make a catch in the spring game, and then you've got Fanuel and Cade McIntyre as your oars. I want to see Fanuel play. I want to see Fanuel play specifically because I want to see that basketball player on the football field. I want to see if we have another Rico Gathers. I want to see if we have a player, of that caliber. You know what I'm saying?
Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, like that type of guy who came from the basketball court.
Exactly. I want to see him box somebody out and catch it in the back of the end zone. I want to see him do that. And he was a pretty solid basketball player. He played D2. I mean, you got to be a pretty solid player to make it even D2. So, yeah. So, yeah, that interests me on that. Any thoughts on tight end before we go to the offensive line?
No. And, I mean, this, you see neither of the young kids with the injury issues. I'm wondering if they'll be active for the game, and maybe get to see what they do with the lights on. But that's a thin room. I don't think that we're going to depend on them much outside of blocking this game, unless they just absolutely leave something open. But I'd rather one of the receivers get out there, and the big bodies get out there, and in the middle, we got to preserve Stogner and Smith. That's a fact.
Yep, got you with that one, 100%. So okay. Line, the offensive line, this really floored me, and I wanted to wait and really talk through it because there's no oars on here. They have definitive sets on who's going to be where. I love seeing Sexton is the 3rd behind Caden Green because that means that Sexton is progressing.
Yep.
But Caden Green is good enough to go ahead and take care of it. They're not too concerned. And then you're throwing in here, you got Troy Everett right behind Andrew Rhyme at the center. So I was way off on that one. I thought that we was going to see some, and it was fun. We don't see Joshua Bates.
No.
The freshman on here.
He had a lot of issues in the spring, and I think that the IQ is there. I think the execution is still lacking, and I think that he's got a little bit of weight to put on. He's going to be a beast. He is not going to be Creed Humphrey right now, but he could be a Creed Humphrey down the road.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Troy could be it. Troy, I think somebody mentioned that he talked about the way that they lifted at Appalachian State and was like, what? Y'all didn't do, never mind. So that's what we got in that conversation. And so as Hank mentioned here, Fan could be, yes, I think Fanuel could be a hidden one. I think he could really be special. So, and we didn't get Bates in the 2 deep. That just jumped out to me. So, and this is a good question, Stubby. Is it really a concern that we have no oars? It feels like I feel like we're crystal clear on the talent. And so I thought it was more fascinating than anything. Is like, oh, so there's no question on who they want in the 1 and the 2 deep, and then potentially the 3rd. Like you got 2 deep on your guard, center, and right guard. You got 3 deep on your tackles. It's like, no, this is who we're going to run with, and this is who we feel. But again, this is week 1. We're going to do this again next week before SMU because it's probably going to look completely different then. So that's always, of course, fascinating. So wide receivers. Coop. There is only one or in here, and that's LV Buckley Shelton with Jaden Gibson out there right behind Andrew Anthony. I told y'all Andrew Anthony was going to take that spot because Andrew Anthony had something special to him. The kid's going to be a monster. Y'all going to be excited about Andrew Anthony this season. You're going to look at him and be like, dang, he he is showing out. But I love seeing a Gibson's and Orr because that tells me that he actually got out there and showed out in camp.
Yeah.
Coop, what you think about these wide receiver setups?
Well, here's the one thing is where the offensive line is this is going to be their first start ever together. They've never started a game together. A lot of guys were out in that spring game, so that's why it looked like there was no offensive line. The wide receiver starters with Farouk Stoops and Andrell Anthony, this is their first time on the field together. Anthony's hopefully going to be able to take that Marvin Mims type of role. But yeah, this is great. I mean, I love seeing that. Gavin Freeman. Right there, Jaquez Petaway is right there. Nick Anderson right behind Jalil Farouk. And I'll say this. I think that for the entire season, this is the start really won't matter. It's going to be targets. And so if you don't start, but you got second most targets on the team, you're doing something right? But we talked about the running backs already. These guys have to be blockers, these wide receivers, every single one of them. And if you want to see more playing time, you better block your ass off.
Yep, that's going to be critical, especially blocking downfield, because when we had good blocking last season, we had those big runs. When we didn't block, and you can go back and look at those games, that's when we was getting stopped and having those deep third downs. You can tell the difference in the way that play was. So, last piece on this one is, look at that slot. Drake Stoops, Gavin Freeman, Jaquez Petaway. So, and I'm going to say this real quick. You may be asking the question, wait a minute, we just got a transfer from Texas. What happened to Brennan Thompson? Hurt. Since he's hurt, he's not going to be on the deep. There's no reason to put him in the depth chart when he's not playing. Like, there's no chance of him playing. Sexton can play. That's why he's on there, but they're protecting him from himself. So that's the reason why you don't see him further up the depth chart. They want him to get 100%. Or at least closer to 100% and not play at 80 because it's coming off a knee injury, which happened in December.
Did you notice who the very last receiver listed was?
DJ Graham.
I think we'll see Graham too.
Yeah, and there was a fear that he was hurt. And if that doesn't mean that if he ain't hurt no more. Whoo, y'all, guess what? Get excited. I'm ready to see Gavin Freeman. I know he's going to be in packages, him and Drake Stoops. But LV Buckley Shelton and Jaden Gibson together. Nick Anderson right behind Jalil Farouk, which means we're going to see a lot of Nick too.
Yeah.
Man, we're going to have a lot of hype on the field this season. So I am excited. All right, before we move over onto the defensive side, hop in the comments. Let us know how y'all feel about this. Talk to me about your excitement. Love to hear from you all. We love the engagement and interaction. It's always dope talking to you all. Today, we got about 40 people in the channel. I think we've got maybe 20 likes. So 20 of y'all ain't liking the everything. And if you're listening, rate, review, and all that jazz. So let's move on into the defensive side. And there's a lot of competitive depth. You're right, Adjust the Hat. Jeez Louise. I'm going to pee like crazy tonight. We had this is some questions that popped up, and this is the one I wanted to wait on this specifically because we're going to talk defense now. Now, Stubby, you asked this question. What's the ultimate expectation for the defense? Keeping in mind our schedule is the easiest in many years. I think we should have stat-wise a top 40 defense. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you, Stubby. If we don't have a top 20 defense, I'm disappointed. And I say that because not blowing hyperbole of y'all or smoke or anything. When you hear the players talk, I will always reference the Reggie Pearson interview because he was talking about just the talent we had on the team was up there with his top 2 defense at Wisconsin, in which that schedule was pretty good for them, very favorable. We had something similar. So for me, in everything, I anticipate that our schedule being as favorable as it is, this defense should go and show out.
Yeah.
Period. Like it should be complete show out from us this season. And that's the reason why I'm thinking we could easily have have a top 20 defense. Cool.
Yeah. Like I said, I started off the defensive side with reading just the number twos. They are better at almost every single position, and I think that look, we have on the defensive tackle. There's 5 guys listed there. 5 guys that everybody wants to see. Grayson Holt is listed number 4 right there. So I think Trav shared a little graphic of the defense starting in 2021 versus the one starting this year. It's like an 26, 27 pound difference on the plus side. But yeah, you just look at this and you can think like, hey, listen, we are so versatile because, you just go with the cheetah stuff. Justin Harrington, better in coverage. He's great around the line of scrimmage, and that's why he's starting. Deshaun McCullough's having a little bit issues with the pass coverage portion of it. But when, if there's a 3rd and 2 or a 3rd and 3 or something like that, we saw him do those things in the spring game. And so you've got the capabilities to really play the run. You've got capabilities to play the pass. You've got Billy Bowman, who is going to be kick returning and starting strong safety. And then if he needs a breather, you're just bringing in a 5-star, all American number 2, safety out in last year's class, who
Right.
People are already starting to throw some names like Sean Taylor out there. So or Ed Reed. So you just look at this, and I promise you, if Brent Venables doesn't have a copy of this on his nightstand as he gets ready to go to bed, then I'll be dead wrong. But I think that he's looking at this going, all right, we're making this movement.
Yep, exactly. And you jumped into some of the positions. We're going to dive right into that right now. Let's look at the defensive line. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 oars on the defensive line, which tells me we're going to be busy on the defensive line. And we've got that depth to allow for us to bring multiple players in, something that we have not seen in a bit. This is probably one of the better defensive line setups we had. In 2001, 2020, 19. We can probably go back.
The 2020 team, they're in the COVID year. That's the year that, we had Ronnie Perkins, Perry on Winfrey, Nick Bonito. So we had some, and Isaiah Thomas also. So like that team had some pretty good stuff. And I think but we forget about them easily because Spencer didn't really play in the second half of games. Right. But yeah, this defense outside of that, you got to go back to 2008.
Yeah, you got to go back pretty far. And so I'm looking at this Bothroyd starting with R. Mason Thomas right behind him. So R. Mason beat out PJ as the number 2 deep on that side of the field. And there's no or in there. So it's Bothroyd is leading the charge. Fascinating. Yep. Then you go on the opposite side. You've got Ethan Downs with Trace Ford as an or. So that means that you're going to see a lot of packages with those two. And then you see Reggie Grimes and Marcus Stripling as your oars there, which that was intriguing to me. And then they went 5 deep on this one with Taylor Wine right there, in which it's funny because Taylor came in like 215. He's put on almost like 30 pounds of just, and I've heard it's like muscle.
And yeah. And so, also, you don't need 5 defensive ends, but that tells me that what Taylor Wine's been doing in practice has earned him to be on this list.
Exactly. And then you go into the tackles. You got your 3 technique and your 0 technique, your defensive tackle in the nose. It's all oars. Because, and I know why it's oars. You all may have some concerns, but I'm going to calm you down now and say there is no reason to be concerned because of this right here. Adjust the Hat said it perfectly. This is what Ty Bates said. He wants to play a minimum of 6 defensive linemen. Yeah. A minimum of 6. So that's going to be huge. So Mars, you asked this question. I'm going to jump on this right now. Saili will not be here until spring. He'll be a spring enrollee. I don't know why, but it's probably something to do with school. So Saili will be here. He'll be SEC ready. Let's put it like that. That's when you'll see Danny. But looking at this defensive line, look at that. Look. Let's count this real quick, Coop. We got A 297, which is Jordan Kelly. We're going to go ahead and put 300. He'll be at 300 by the time the game starts. He'll put on enough weight. We got Zed Cole at 311. We got Dejon Terry at 321. That's 300-pounders basically on this line. Kevin Gillum is 295. We'll go ahead and give him 5 pounds. He'll get it. That's 4. That's 4. 4 dudes right there at the cuffs. 4 dudes at 290 or above. When have we seen a line be this big and be this much potential? Like, talk to me. When have we seen this?
2015, maybe with the weight, but
right.
potential. No, I mean, this is 2008.
Good Lord. I'm excited about the way this looks. Laulu starting or with Kelly. And it warms my heart to see that look at your 3 deep at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Jacob Lacey.
Look at your 40.
Jacob Lacey. Now, there was concerns about Lacey with the blood clots and everything, but what was stated by the coaches was in one of the interviews that they anticipate him being ready for the season. And looking at this here tells me what? He's probably going to be ready for the season. I am so excited about that. So excited about that. That's a good thing. That's a very big plus for us because, we got a lot of big, Hank, you're right. 2 at most, 2 cheeseburgers away from getting some of these dudes over 300. And we're there, baby. We're going to see some Grayson Helton right behind Lacey. I think Helton's going to play more. I think keeping him and Devon Sears is going to get some game. And before I leave out of this, and Coop, you can throw your last couple of comments in before we go to linebackers. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 super seniors on this defensive line. Laulu and Kelly, Rondell Bothroyd, and Marcus Stripling. The rest of this defensive line can come back next season.
Yeah.
They can come back. So that means that we could have just about downs for Grimes, adding in Dejon Terry, Cole, Gillum. You can throw in there, and I'm talking just older guys, Jacob Lacey, Devon Sears. All of them can come back next season to go in the SEC. Could you imagine that? All these big boys playing this year, and then they come back next year?
With the talent that you're bringing in.
There you go.
Look, you also didn't say it. I mean, Champ Sanders, if he doesn't get a lot of PT during the middle of the season, he'll be 300 by the bowl game.
Yep.
He's got that mentality. You and I still that tweet where he's like, "This is the goal line. You're not getting through me."
Yep. And that's the players we want, guys.
I love it.
So I understand, like, if you're a member of the channel, first off, thank you so much. I know all the members in here. If you're a member and you go, I put in a video, I'm going to release it to the wild in the future, but I put a video up there talking about the Clemson classes and what it looked like for us with the Clemson classes comparison. Like, Clemson was bringing in Champ Sanders type players. When Venables got there. It took them 3 years to get a 5-star. They've already got 2 5-star pluses in the last 2 cycles already. In PJ Adebaware as well as now David Stone. They weren't getting this at Clemson. It took 3 years. They had to prove themselves. And guess what? We're now starting to see the fruits of all that labor. So, be prepared, man. It's going to be fun on that end. So, linebacker. This shocked me. I'm going to be honest. Linebacker shocked me because I did not expect Kanik to be the Mike and Stutzman to be the Will. And this is the reason why. And this is no shade to Kanik. Stutzman, I believe, knows the defense better than Kanik. And usually your Mike is going to be the one, which is your middle linebacker, quarterbacking it. But they may have Danny quarterbacking from the Will side, which is your weak side linebacker.
Still believe it, yeah.
But I was expecting Stutzman to be all over the field. But I think that the reason why they did this, and this is my guesstimation, is because Kanik has the speed to be all over the field more than Stutzman. Yep. So, Coop, what do you think about the Mike and Will setup?
I mean, you said every single bit of that is dead on. I still think that it's fluid, and I still think that we'll see, because again, Koenig's never been given the starter role. And so how does he respond? I think that Arkansas State's going to come and try to spread you out and really put the emphasis on tackling assignment duties. And they listen. This is not a challenge. This is probably easier competition than the spring game. But you want to see Koenig go out there and prove that it's his time. He is going to be all over the place. He's going to, like we've said multiple times. He knows where the target is now, and so he's going to know where to hit. Last year, he was just a freak of nature running around and hoping to be in the right place at the right time. But yeah, I still think Danny's the leader of the defense. He's going to be the one that catches the most criticism, and he's going to be catching a lot of praise too. Unfortunately, I think that unfortunately for Arkansas State, I think that the guys up in front of them are going to allow those guys to both just do whatever they want.
Yep. And so, apologies to y'all. I just realized how small that was. So I'm zoomed it in so you can get a bigger picture of it. But as Coop made mention of so eloquently, Arkansas State's going to have some problems looking at these people coming after them. Man, it's going to be fun because with Kanik and Neer as your two, and then you got McKenzie and Pichotti oaring it, baby. Yeah. Oaring it. I think, and Kobe McKenzie at Mike was exactly what I expected. I thought I saw K9 out of him, as I laugh and joke about the size of him being bigger than K9 as a senior in high school. It's like, yeah, that kid, he's got it. And looking at his size right now at 200, what's that, 38 pounds? Whew, he's going to be nice.
Oh, yeah.
And then Pichotti at 239. Oh, my goodness. They're going to be nice. Will Kip Lewis being right behind Stutzman, that means he's going to be special. And the missile. Lewis Carter. I thought Witter was going to be able to pull in there. It appears that Lewis Carter is him.
Yeah. Well, the athleticism in front of him is just, it's no offense to Shane Witter, but the athleticism, I mean, I said this in another pod, but imagine being, I don't know, the second string running back. Hey, guys, we're down 35 points. Let's get out there and just, play for your character, play for your heart. You go out there, and now here comes freaking Lewis Carter foaming at the mouth to hit somebody, late in the third quarter. That's not going to be fun. And you know that they're going to be running dive plays and running just to try to get that clock to run out. And yeah, Kip Lewis, he still needs a few more biscuits, but he is so athletic and he just ends up at the right place at the right time all the time.
Yep. The good thing is that they love to hit. And so even being smaller, they're still going to fly through and start hammering people. And that's all that matters for what we want. Okay, let's move into the cheetah and the secondary. The cheetah we talked about a little bit. Harrington being up there, McCullough. But this was fascinating. Omosigo and Witter as oars in the cheetah. I thought that we would have seen Peyton Bowen and Reggie Pearson there. No. We're seeing Omosigo and Witter. That intrigued me about Witter not being at the linebacker spot. I wonder if they're going to try to rotate him situationally as a cheetah, as a third linebacker. Wow.
Well,
wow.
It's you see it, kind of like I said earlier. Justin Harrington is going to be more of the pass coverage guy. When it's situationally that it's going to be more run heavy, Deshaun McCullough is going to be in there. And I think it's the same with Witter and oh goodness gracious, Omosigo. Omosigo is going to be the pass coverage guy. Shane Witter is going to come up and pop around the line. I heard some late stuff on Sammy, and everybody sounded like he was finally caught up to speed and starting to make some plays, kind of like you're hearing about Lewis Carter.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna hear a lot. You're gonna hear a lot about Lewis Carter coming this season. We heard a lot about him in camp, so I expect to see even more. All right, corners. Let's look at the secondary. Man,
I was wrong.
I was ready for this. I was ready for this, and I knew this was going to happen. Gentry at corner, right there next to Woody Washington. Now, this is what I've been hearing a lot of. Just, of course, we all know Josiah Wagner has been jumping off the board. The problem with Wagner is, and I heard it was Teddy
Yeah.
and Gabe was talking about this. He's dealing with injury issues. He's got some little nagging ones, which means to me what? Got to put on his weight. He's got to up that weight game, and then we won't be dealing with any of those problems. Coop, what you think?
Yeah. Again, it was just 2 weeks ago. We were like, hey, buy the Gentry Williams stock. It's there. And so I think that Josiah, the injury is probably why he was not there. And it's not that Gentry wasn't doing a great job. It's the fact that Josiah was just making a charge. And so, listen, if you put three defensive backs and it's Gentry, Woody, and Josiah Wagner, I think that you're very happy with that situation.
Yep.
But this is going to be great. And guess what? I think that Woody is going to get challenged quite a bit this year, and so we get to see Woody Washington sans TCU last year. You got to see, and that was he just checked out that game. I think between him and Marvin Mims, we had about 3 checkouts last year. But yeah, I mean, Woody is who he is, and I think that it's great. But you see, Dolby right there back behind Gentry Williams. Dolby's ready to play too. So we're going to see these guys in and out, and as well as the other positions. This gives the people, this gives the coaches the ability to coach during this game, and they don't have to worry about pulling somebody over for a coaching moment because they can send a freak of nature out right behind them with that competitive depth.
Oh gosh, more drinks. I'm gonna pee like crazy. I got to tear my house apart. I'm getting the living room painted in the morning, so I'm gonna be up all night anyway. So luckily, all this water is gonna keep me going. But no, yeah, exactly. Cheetah package. You're right. It just had. It's gonna be baseball packages when it comes to Cheetah, but it's just fascinating seeing on the depth chart how many the names that they have on there that they plan on actually playing. That's what jumped out to me. Is like, oh my goodness, really? We've got Sammy making that list with Shane. Because and Kim, this is what I anticipated, but it's probably more incognito. You're right. More incognito in comparison to being them actually being on the depth chart. It's going to be a lot of the fluidness of this defense is going to be so much fun. We're going to see a Clemson-like defense. So y'all have a reason to be excited. Don't stress yourselves. Be ecstatic and just excited about what this is going to look like. And so safety-wise, Bowen, and McCullough, with the free safety at that or for Reggie. It's funny because his dad, I don't know if Coach Pearson's in the chat today or if he's watching. He'll probably be watching it later on the replay. But he was saying that he need to get that or off of Reggie. And I laugh because I'm like, I think it's because he's going to be everywhere. Like, they're just going to throw Reggie in places. It feels like that's what you do, especially with the hammer that he is, the way he likes to hit, the way he likes to go. You just put him everywhere. But Key Lawrence did have a good camp. They talked up Key Lawrence like crazy. Plus, Robert Spears-Jennings and Jaden Rowe. Someone asked about Jaden Rowe in here. They've both been battling injury. I know Jaden Rowe had a shoulder surgery last season while he was out. Yeah. And he's still working that shoulder, getting himself stronger. And Robert Spears-Jennings was in and out. If I'm correct, he had shoulder surgery too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So most of this is probably because of that. We don't know. But as the season goes on, man, you're going to see a lot of players, man. Coop, what you think about this safety position and just the secondary as a whole now?
Secondary as a whole, I mean, this is the strongest secondary we've had I think that if I'm not wrong, that Aaron Colvin and Franks played together, right? And Dominic Franks. And so
yes,
that was the last time that both of those corners, just were ballers. And so, but you just look at this and it's exciting because the capabilities for just the different formations, I'm with you because, it's hard to say like someone's going to put us in the hurry up and get us out of our rhythm. And then you look at some of these corners, like Pearson, Bowman, You get Josiah or somebody like that in there. I mean, imagine these wide receivers, because Arkansas State does have some guys that can do some damage at receiver. But if one of these guys gets held up by a little bit by one of the corners and the safety comes to clean it up, we're going to see some Brandon Everidge days of old come back in, where people are just knocking the piss out of wide receivers.
Oh man, that's gonna
make them think twice.
Yeah, make them ask themselves, make business decisions. Something that we
Yeah.
all love to see that they do is get those business decisions in, because that is always fun. Always so much fun. All right. Let's talk about, you know what? We can look at the specialists too. I think that's the ones that was also kind of interesting. Seeing your kick and punt returners. Before
you get into that, also think that a lot of these 2s and 3s are going to be on special teams. So imagine Marcus Stripling, Taylor Wine, Phil Picciotti, Kip Lewis, Dasan McCullough, all out there on special teams. I don't know if Zach Schmidt's got the Austin Seibert leg, but I think we're going to see some fair catches after a few returns, because we're going to be kicking the ball off quite a bit.
Yeah, I sense that our offense is going to definitely be doing a lot of scoring. And if we're doing a lot of scoring, then we're doing something right. Something that you all been wanting to have is a bunch of points out there. Yeah, that's going to be critical for us. And I sense that we're going to have a lot of that here. So let's wrap it up. We're going to wrap this bad boy up with a bow, and we're going to do too much longer. We'll probably give you about 7 minutes of great content. Hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe. Also, share. Why? Because sharing is caring. It's always good to share this out there to the friends and family that loves OU football and even college football in general. You know, we're expanding and we're doing more stuff just to talk. But let's dive into the final thing. Arkansas State game on Saturday, 11 o'clock. It's going to be hot in Hades. Hop in the comments. Who's going to be there? Who's going to be in town? I've debated on trying to find tickets, but then I keep looking at the temperature. And I keep looking at the temperature like, why would I want to do that to myself? You know what I'm saying? Like every time I look, I'm like, do I want to do that to me? I don't think I want to do that to me. And so because of that, I'm not going to do it to myself. So, Coop, you gonna try to make that game?
I actually am physically unable to perform.
You're still on the pup list, aren't you?
Got the torn ligament in my ankle, and I thought that I was almost there, but then walking around the Lee Summit North and Union scrimmage, I aggravated it again. So I've been a walking boot for the next little while, and my OLD is catching up with me. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, Coop. So Arkansas State. Who is the coach there? Butch Jones. They how did they finish last season? They were not very good last year.
No, and this is going to be an easy game. This is one where I fully expect at some point they're going to want to get Jackson Arnold some good practice. I bet they have to throttle Jackson Arnold down. We might see Bevel come in at some point, because it's somebody asked me like, hey, what's the more likely, Dylan Gabriel to have to create more scoring in the first half, or Dylan Gabriel in the second, or Jackson Arnold in the second? And I was like, ooh. So well, first of all, I don't think that if we throw up 35, I don't think that they're going to try up throw up 70 against Arkansas State. We're going to get everybody in, get everybody some game time, get a lot of coaching film for the next week, because this is a 5-week clinic. And like I said before, this Arkansas State team is going to try to spread it out and throw the ball side to side. I don't think that they're going to try to run into the teeth of the defensive line. So again, it's take care of your assignment, line up right, make your tackle. The receivers are decent, so if they make some kind of play, here or there, you just want to see it wiped and cleaned right then and there. You don't want to see them break a tackle and break it for a 50-yard gain when it needs to just be, a decent 11-yard out or something like that. So that's what I expect, and I expect us to run it down their damn throat all day long. I mean,
I'm always for it. Stubby, show some respect. That's Bobby Petrino.
That is Petrino.
Or did Butch Jones do the same thing? That would be
I don't
interesting that Butch Jones and Bobby Petrino would have the exact same fate in life. That would be hilarious. I don't think it's true, but that would be hilarious for them having the same fate. But yeah, we got
I'm hitting the Google.
yeah, Google that, please. Go search that while you're doing it and while I'm running my mouth. And so, Arkansas State lost 3, 6, 7, 8. They lost 9 games last year. Stubby, are you talking about at Arkansas? You talking about at Arkansas is Bobby, who's now at
Is Bobby
Texas A&M.
Petrino, who's yeah.
If it's true, I'm totally gonna go. Yeah, we go. I want to see if Butch Jones had the same fate, because that'd be funny. Because Butch Jones has also lost a lot of jobs. He was a coach at my Vols at one point. He's been everywhere, Miami. You name it for Butch. He's had.
Was he at SMU? Or he was down in Texas somewhere, wasn't he?
Oh, Texas. He was Central Michigan. He wasn't. He was Central Michigan, Cincinnati, Tennessee. He lost Tennessee job. Was a analyst for Alabama, and then he's been at Arkansas State since 01. And it hasn't been the best run here at Arkansas State. 2-10 his first year, 1-7 in conference, 3-9 his second year, which he improved by a game. Can't be mad at him for that. Still 1-7 in conference, which tells you everything you need to know. But he did win 9 games 2 years in a row at Tennessee, which was fascinating that he was capable of doing that.
That was the Baker year.
Yes, 100%. So yeah. No, Stubby, you good? It's still hilarious, because if it was Butch Jones too, man, I would have lost my shit on here for real. That'd have been hilarious for it to have been that situation happened to him twice. But he also was not very good in the Tennessee situation. Anyway, they haven't really had too good of seasons. 2 straight losing seasons, roster wise. They got JT Stroud though. JT Stroud. Y'all remember JT Stroud? Who remember JT Stroud? Not so many people remember JT Stroud. Coop, you remember JT Stroud?
No, I don't.
He was quarterback at Tennessee for 2 years. 19 and 20. 20. Lost his job. Well, he never really played. Then he went to Colorado last year. Set out 2021, played at Colorado 2022, and he bounced from there as well. So, I mean, he was a decent quarterback at Tennessee, like decent potential.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did not make it happen. And I mean, 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions at Colorado. So part of that 2022 team that won like 1 game, yeah, that's their quarterback. We'll have to see what that looks like overall.
Stubby, let it. You're good, brother. It's okay.
No, you're good, man. It's hilarious, bro. It's still funny. That's the thing about it. It's hey, I think you're great, but overall, I think
you could be a recruiting analyst and call Caleb Hicks David Hicks on a live pod.
Yeah, you could.
None of us have done that.
No. David Hicks, Caleb Hicks out there that I've ever heard of. No, not at all. So I do believe that this game the spread is set at 35.5 with an over-under at 58. We should cover that spread. I don't think we hit the over. I think we hit the under, because I anticipate this defense, and listen to me when I say this, the defense cares enough that they're going to try to shut them out. Now, granted, Arkansas State did score 12 points on Ohio State last season. I think this team tries to make them literally not score a point. So I'm calling 42-0. Coop, what's your score?
I was going to do 55-3. I'm going for the over because, I mean, I don't think it's anything, crazy, but I mean, you have somebody trying to prove something too much, fumble a ball, we hold them, which is okay. I'd be okay with us turning the ball over at the 40-yard line and then maybe gaining 10 yards or something, because we couldn't stop that type of a deal last year. And so I'd like to see it. But yeah, I mean, I'd say 3 just because that's I'm not 100% on the, the full-on belief in the defense, but my disrespect is 3 points.
Yeah, this is interesting that, Kim, you're nice. You are a very, very nice person, that you are actually giving them 2 field goals. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
Kim. I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm a little disappointed. Kim, I would have expected you to say, no, we're gonna blow them out with no points. But you have a point here. I do believe that they could probably get field goals. I just think that this defense is going to try their hardest to hold them
Yeah.
to no points. And I only say that because it's just the way that they gelled together and the way this defense is talking. This is that warm-up game for SMU to where they can try to get back-to-back shutouts. And if they
Yeah.
can pull that off, if everybody hits their assignments and they make that happen, that top 20 defense I said is there. But if not, I can still see top 40. If we go middle ground 30, we should be excited. Last year, I looked them up a little bit. They won 3 games last year, 3-9. They weren't very good. Their defense was not very good. I went through the schedule itself. They beat Grambling. They beat Louisiana Monroe, and then they beat Massachusetts. That's it. But Texas State beat them. Troy blew them out. South Alabama blew them out 31-3. Louisiana, the Raging Cajun beat them 38-18. They had a close game with Southern Miss. James Madison blew them out 42-20. Memphis beat them 44-32. It was a little bit of a shootout. Ohio State blew them out 45-12. So yeah, but you're right. Flukes do happen, and that's fair. Fairest thing out here. You're right. I just want this defense to just shut them down. So, Coop, any last words?
I want them to. Yeah, I want the defense to score more than they allow. I think the 0 thing or 3 points, hell, if it's 6 points, but I want, there was that stat that the 2001 Miami Hurricanes could have scored 0 touchdowns and still gone 8-4. I want some shit like that.
That would be flames. If we pull that off, yeah, that is a stat. That's a nice stat, folks. Hop in the comments. What y'all think? I like that idea. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, probably not. We all want them to destroy them, but guys, don't panic if they score a touchdown or 2. Stubby, I'm not gonna panic. I'm just gonna be disappointed, and it's not gonna be a, oh man, we suck again. It's gonna be more of a, man, I was really hoping y'all could have pulled this out type deal. You know what I'm saying? More of a just, I'm sad that we didn't get what we got. And yeah, I mentioned that just that that JT is from Colorado, played at Tennessee first too. He played at both of them. Because I want the defense to be better than what they are. I want them, that's why, Dominic, I want them to show out like that. I want them to show out. Period. Yes. Yeah.
This is but guys, this is a team that, again, 3 games and a bunch of teams that the average college football fan's never heard of, outside of maybe like an NCAA tournament or something like that. But this is our defensive line and linebackers. I mean, expect us to be in the top of the league after the first week with tackles for loss and sacks. Like we're going to be in the backfield all day long. Yep. These guys, they're bigger offensive linemen, but the athleticism is a different world.
Yeah, that's the big thing. And I want to see our line muscle them, even with them being big. I just want to see us get that muscle, because I think this is the biggest line Arkansas State's had in a while. I think I was listening to, when I was listening to Teddy and Gabe, they had the one of the Arkansas State, I guess, insiders or whatnot, talking about the players and learning them, because they got a lot of transfers too. They actually brought in like an influx of transfers similar to what Colorado did. I think they brought like 40 something players on there. Yeah, I did. I totally clashed with them, and I don't mind it. It was today I wanted to talk about this, and I didn't realize they were going to go here on this Wednesday tonight. And so, it'll be okay. Maybe one day. Yeah, we're good. But Corey, thanks for pulling up. You can always watch and catch up, man. We're talking the whole depth chart and everything. But besides that, we're going to wrap it up. Thank y'all for pulling up as usual. Please hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe. If you're listening to the podcast version, rate, review, give us 5 stars. You don't think we deserve it? Yeah, just go ahead and give us 5 anyway and gift it. Coop, any final words?
Guys, it's what is today? Wednesday. We're 3 days away from football in Oklahoma, and this is a season that I think we're going to look back and be like, save your receipts, And
Save them receipts, baby.
because it's if we have a top 20 defense and our offense is similar to last year, guys, that's pushing playoffs.
Yep.
I made the prediction. I made the prediction last night with Jason on Hall of Fame that I see a world where Oklahoma, because of the schedule, because of other conferences, kind of cannibalizing themselves, Oklahoma, they take care of their business. It is going to be a great storyline. We got the SEC will push it. It'll be great.
Yep. And I'm gonna be excited. So with that, we're gonna chop it up with y'all. I don't know, about a day or two. Boomer sooner. Peace.